Welcome to Baby Boomer Tales. You can find us on Facebook. The posts we put on our Facebook page, most of them have links to either our webpage, babyboomertales.com, or there are links to different podcast episodes of Baby Boomer Tales. My name is Jim. I want to thank you for riding along today. Now for another installment of Unusual Facts. China has only one time zone. China is almost the size of the USA, which has 6 time zones. China used to have 5, but in 1949, Chairman Mao Zedong changed it to 1 standard time, that being Beijing Standard Time, and he did that in the name of national unity. The Beatles about summed it up in their song Revolution, but if you go carrying pictures of Chairman Mao, you ain't gonna make it with anyone anyhow. It's gonna be all right. I like to get up early, no alarm since I quit the 9 to 5 stuff. When the house is quiet and dark, I go outside this time of year and the crispness of the morning air. Maybe I see the sunrise. I drink coffee with no interruptions. Other things that are the best of being alive. Driving my pickup truck on country roads. My car of choice is a pickup truck, and I just like to cruise down an old dirt road. Wonder why they don't put a little more gravel on it. See the beauty and the solitude of being out on a rural country road. Look at some cows and wonder if anyone could possibly live in that ramshackled house over on the right. It is really a stress-free environment when I travel in my pickup down an old country road. Another thing I like about being alive is watching the spring come alive. The beauty of the flowering trees and the wonderful flowers that bloom. Springtime in the Midwest is definitely superior to springtime in the Rocky Mountains. I know there's a famous song when it's springtime in the Rockies, but I can attest that that basically is brown snow and lots of mud. But when summer hits, there's no prettier place on earth than the Rockies. I have to admit that. I also like thunderstorms while I am sleeping. It just makes me sleep better. Hearing that thunder rumbling, maybe rain pelting the windows. Or what about going outside in a soft, gentle rain? Makes you want to just take all your clothes off and soak it in. Another thing I love about being alive is watching children play. I don't even need to describe that. It's a happy thing. Now for the Song of the Week. Our song this week is Just Like Romeo and Juliet. Released in 1964 by The Reflections, it hit number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. It is considered a one-hit wonder by The Reflections. It's about a young man who plans to find a job so he can buy his girlfriend presents and also have a car to take her out on dates. He fears that if he cannot find a good job, their love will fall apart, just like the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. Other things I like about being alive: dogs. I love dogs. Dogs are my preferred animal. Now, if you rather say horses or cats or your pot-bellied pig, I don't care. Mine is dogs. I've had some wonderful dogs in my life, and there's a special place in my heart for those dogs. That's a fact. Another wonderful thing about being alive is music. Music can touch your soul in a place where nothing else ever can enter. It can bring back a feeling or a memory. They'll bring a tear to your eye, that's for sure. Another thing I like about being alive is friends. Friends are precious. Good friends are few. I could go on and on about this and name several names, and I have before on this podcast, and I will again. I hope somewhere someone thought of me as being a very good friend. I really do. Another thing that's great about being alive is the beauty of nature. I don't care if it's looking out at an old farm pond that's surrounded by pasture on one side and trees on another with a few cows hanging around, or if it's the majesty of the Rocky Mountains, or the serenity of the ocean, or the simplicity of a daisy, or the beauty of an elk, or the wonder of a full moon rising against the atmosphere and it's almost blood red. Nature is truly a gift from God. Another thing I like about being alive is laughter. To hear a 1-year-old laughing is a sound that is more precious than diamonds. To see children laughing and playing is a comfort to my soul. To be able to laugh at something funny, or to laugh with someone you love, or to be in a large area where everybody is laughing is really something that will lift your spirits beyond your imagination sometimes. Another thing I like about being alive is love. Love for your mate, love for your children and their children, love for your parents and family. But love goes further and deeper than all that. To walk in love should be a cherished gift indeed. Another thing I like about being alive is the seasons of life. I've spoken about seasons of life before, where spring is when you're a child and a young adult and everything seems new and wonderful and fresh, or the summer of your life where the living could be very easy and you're producing so much and it's so fulfilling, or the autumn of your life where you reflect back at the spring and summer and you see the beauty all around you and everything's golden and you can smile inside. And yes, the winter of our life where you know things are getting shorter and you can sit and smile and know, I pray you know, that it was a life well lived. Another thing I like about life is smiles. I like it when I'm in the grocery store and I'm looking for something. I know it's in this aisle and where can it be? And somebody meets me with pushing their buggy down the aisle and we smile at each other. I like that. I like to be in a room of strangers or walking down a street and not know anybody and smile at somebody and they smile back, or vice versa. Another thing I like about being alive are my favorite books. Now I'm always reading a book, and anymore it's listening on an audiobook, but I used to read books. I do prefer audiobooks, so I always have one going. A lot of times if I really like the book, I'll go buy it and put it in my library. That's fine. But you know what? I have precious few that are my favorites. And usually my favorite books coincide with my favorite author. A few I would consider a masterpiece, even if the world doesn't classify them as such. I think books are a very individual thing, and I love reading books. Another thing I like about being alive, the stars. I on purpose didn't say that about nature, because I'm not sure the stars are classified in nature, but I can sit out on a cool, clear night out here in the country where I live in northeastern Kansas and see the Big Dipper and wonder, is that Venus? And look over the other way and know the red one must be Mars, and all those thousands of stars up there. Now where I was born and raised up in north central Colorado, Rocky Mountain, you see many more stars than I can see here. And it is fantastic, fantastic indeed. Another thing I like about being alive are hamburgers. Now I was going to start putting some of my favorite foods down, but if you listen to this podcast on a fairly regular basis, you'll know the foods I do prefer, but hamburgers are my favorite. Grilled to perfection, I love hamburgers. What a wonderful thing to have taste buds and to eat your favorite food. Now, as I say this, I hope you can reflect on some of your favorite things. I do. One of my favorite things, being alive, is experiencing autumn. We're in autumn right now, right in the middle of it. The days are beautiful and warm. The nights and early morning are very cool and crisp, at least here, where I live. Autumn is beautiful no matter where you are. I don't think I've ever experienced an autumn wherever I lived that I didn't think it is the most beautiful thing in the world. Another thing I like about being alive is creating something. Something you create with your mind or your hands. It's very fulfilling and can stay with you forever. I do a podcast. What do you do to create? Another thing I like about being alive is giving. I don't care if it's something that you own, that you give someone, or giving your time to an organization that appreciates that, or to somebody like helping them move, or paint a bedroom for them, or something like that. Giving, well, let me say this. The old saying, it's better to give than to receive, is very, very true. Another thing I like about being alive is going somewhere new. We call them vacations usually, but to experience that, I always, wherever I am somewhere new, I feel like the very air is different. I like that feeling. Another thing I like about being alive is marriage. I've been blessed, I know, with my marriage, and not everyone is as fortunate as I have been. Another thing is family. It's one of the most fulfilling things about being alive. So you can pass that life on to your children and their children and their children. But family extends much more than that. Your grandparents, your parents, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your nieces and nephews, your siblings, your wife or your husband. And the last, but definitely not the least thing I like about being alive is the one who made all this beauty, the big man upstairs, the guy in my heart, our God Almighty. A couple of quotes about being alive before I wrap this all up. To be alive at all is to have scars. John Steinbeck. Today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Dr. Seuss. Always be kind. It is a high calling that anyone can be. I'll be back next Wednesday. Peace out, no doubt. Yes, sir. Sitting in this here rocking chair on my front porch is one of the best things about being alive.